Hey you guys, so my sincerest apologies for my extended leave of absence. You guys already know life gets tough, but I thank you guys for waiting. But I wanted to come on here and vent for a moment because there was a post that I happened to come across on Facebook, and it's one of those conversations that's seemingly perpetual with how redundant and repetitive it is. So if you guys pay attention to this image, it depicts an illustration of someone asking why black women have an issue with cave women wearing braids but silent when it comes to black women wearing blonde wigs. So I went to the person who posted this picture, and of course it was a dark-skinned black man who made the post. You guys remember how in my colorism videos, I discussed the social issues with how dark-skinned black men are usually the biggest perpetrators of colorism because the source of this emanates from their own disdain they may have within themselves, and so they will create a projection by spewing negative rhetoric towards black women as an attempt to assuage their own internalized inferiority or negative perspective of their own image. So at this point, if one chooses not to educate themselves on appropriation versus appreciation, especially in 2022, then I make the presumption that you choose to wallow in ignorance because this conversation, as I stated, has gone on for several years and it isn't something new. And this is why I also was curious as to who the person was that posted this image because typically every group of people deals with its own unique pathology. And in the case of black men, specifically dark-skinned black men, I find myself perplexed at our interactions, not with just society, but in our own community. It's interesting. It's interesting because from a societal point of view, men have a role by default, which is to help ensure their women are valued, treasured, cherished, loved, and respected. This means that they will compliment their women and make sure they know that their aesthetic is beautiful no matter the style. And to try and relegate your attraction to a woman down to her physical characteristics just goes to show how shallow and superficial you are as a man. And I made a video 2 years ago talking about black women hair hate, and in that same video, I made mention of how feminine it is for men to talk about a woman's hair. It's certainly not becoming of any masculine traits. In a way, it strips you of your own masculinity to be so perceptive of what your women wear. I mean, it's like, damn, are y'all also going to start telling them what makeup they should wear next? Like, come on. And I want you guys to watch this short clip of Peter Thomas talking about black women's hair as a means to demonstrate my point.
Yo, I'm going to say some shit and I'll probably get a lot of flack for it. I just drove by and saw something I got to comment on. I love women. Love black women. Oh my God, I love y'all. Okay? But I also love black women to wear their natural hair. If you want to process it, if you want to iron it, if you want to add some extension to it, I'm all good with all of that. But y'all got to know that everything is not for everybody. I don't like to see people darker than me, black as fuck as me, okay? Woman, okay, wearing blonde hair, or honey blonde hair, and it's not even done right. It's just crazy. Because it look like you're wearing a fucked up hat. And when you're walking around with that, and them other people that's their shit, see y'all? You got to know that they're laughing at.
You guys just saw that clip, and I'm sure I don't need to remind any of you that Peter Thomas, or Patricia, was the former husband of Cynthia Bailey from the Real Housewives of Atlanta. And though he had this machismo disposition about himself, he was very much beta male in nature. For all of his failed businesses, he had to ask Cynthia for the startup money as opposed to using his own money. And to me, that was nothing more than an attention seeker. But all of that is besides the point. You have a faction of black men who purport to know how their women should look. Meanwhile, those same ones who judge have lips that look like this and can't even use moisturizer on a daily. Trust me when I say black women have become privy to navigating those nonsense comments black men tried throwing their way. Someone also tried to reply to the post that I shared, as you guys can see with this post. I can guarantee you black women are not walking around thinking about cave women and what they're doing all day long. Of course, this post was made by a black man, shaking my head. So then some other black men tried replying to my post stating that black women are always complaining about cave women wearing braids always. I responded with a lengthy response saying, must be the ones you know, because the ones I know could care less about this. But while we're on the topic of it, you should really understand the difference between cultural appropriation and appreciation. Cave women are not weaponized for their choice in hairstyle, while black women face ridicule and scrutiny for wearing their natural hair. A little black girl had received a detention in school for wearing her natural 4C hair. Black women can't even wear their natural hair in the workplace because to some it is considered disruptive and distracting. This is an apples to oranges conversation. Education is a good thing. All you have to do is pay attention to what's going on around you as opposed to jumping on a bandwagon and believing all of the negative that surrounds our community. And then also, I said, I find it funny that when cave women wear our hairstyles, it's considered trendy, the in thing, innovative. However, when our own women wear these same hairstyles, they're judged harshly and told that it's ghetto or unappealing. Take a look at this article, you guys, seriously. Black women have trouble wearing their regular natural hair to work. So in essence, black women have to assimilate their hair just to retain their job for survival purposes. So when this foolish boy came on my post and tried to say that nonsense, I had to take him to school and explain to him the hardships that black women are still fighting to this day over wearing their hair without reprimand. And I also need for the same sector of black men to get it together. One moment they want their women to wear their natural hair, and in the next instance they'll complain about how their hair doesn't look a certain way. And this is why black women should wear whatever hairstyle makes them feel beautiful about themselves and ignore what everyone else has to say about them. No one understands the struggles that a black woman has to go through for her own hair. And so for this type of judgment to come from black men is asinine and absurd. And I also want to touch base on what I said in my response to this dumb bimbo. So do you guys remember how media outlets and sources praise Kim Kardashian for wearing braids, but when black women wear braids, they try and say that it's unacceptable, which leads to expulsion from educational institutions? Watch this quick clip.
I was expelled from school for having braided hair extensions.
And that's just one instance. There's thousands of other occurrences just like this one, and so that is the difference. It does not take a physicist or a chemist to understand the variances in treatment between races and cultures. And I'm very ambivalent when it comes to the frequency of this discussion, simply because it shouldn't even be a discussion. Black men should concern themselves more with continuing to listen to Kanye West despite his ridiculous antics and anti-black rhetoric, but still supporting his music career. You want to criticize your own women, but you don't want to account and explain your own irrational actions and decisions. And there's so much more that I can say about this, but I want to hear from you guys. What do you think about black men still having this fixation on how black women should style their hair? And do you think this is a deflection to detract away from them paying attention to more important and pressing matters? Let me know your thoughts in the comments section. Like, subscribe, and share this video, and I'll see you in the next one.